This is Democracy in Practice on the combined broadcast of Liberty Television and Liberty Radio. It is another rainy day in Abuja, the Nigerian capital, where we're reaching you from. I am Mahmoud Tunde Hassan. Stating it pointedly, the local governments is or are like the crybaby and the weakest link in Nigeria's federal structure, always at the bottom of the food chain, practically shortchanged, deprived, and emasculated, especially by the state governors. Lately, things seem to be turning in its favor. First was the Supreme Court verdict granting the local government full, unrestrained autonomy as a third tier of government. Many have applauded this paradigm shift that is hoped has finally extricated and freed the local government from the stranglehold of the governors. Yes, some of the governors are not happy, and one has waved off the Supreme Court verdict as mere distraction. Fingers are still being crossed to see how things pan out in the context of whether people at the grassroots will begin to see development that has long eluded them almost for too long. For now, in the newfound affection for local government, a bill seeking to establish a federal agency for local government elections has scaled through the initial reading at the level of the National Assembly. Now, putting things together with a discerning attention, what do all these twists portend for the dynamics of local administration and the key question of generating the benefits of governance at that critical level of our democratic space? That's our focus today on Democracy in Practice. I'll be right back shortly to engage the conversation. Stay with us.
Democracy in Practice. Democracy in Practice. Democracy in Practice.
Across the development space within the polity in the country, Mr. Dominic Alancha is member of the Board of Trustees of the Political Advantage and Governance Initiative. He's also a party stalwart of the ruling APC. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I know that you're also within the team of the APC professionals.
Yes.
Also joined in the studio by Agenda for Good Governance at that level. He is a peace and conflict resolution expert. Dr. Eze, thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hassan. It's a pleasure.
Let's look at the local government between 1999 and today, and perhaps even before 1999. But pointedly, 1999 till date, the government has been one of the weakest, in fact, if not the weakest change in Nigeria's federal structure. Things seem to be turning slowly in its favor. We have autonomy that has been a battle for more than 30 years in this country. Finally, a granted local government. Whether it's going to be implemented to the letter is yet to be seen. Then there are conversations now about setting up a federal agency to handle elections at the local government, because it's critical to driving that autonomy. What's your take in this turn of events for local administration in this country?
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Hassan, for having me. I think for me, it's a victory for democracy. And for me, it has gone further to, grassroots, the intention of His Excellency President. It means power residing with the people at the grassroots level. It means more development. It means progress for the grassroots people, and a whole lot of things. Like you said, from 1999 till date, the local government, that tier of government has been one of the weakest tier of government, we've had in this country. And that, account largely...
Thank you.
He just painted a scenario that if we had followed that trajectory up till this point, the local government will not be in such sorry state as it is. Why has it taken so long for us to realize that the local government needs some muster behind it?
First and foremost, let me thank the president and all the people existing. It's not existing. We only just have it as a structure or as a system, but it's not functional. Because there are basic things that you needed to see in a local government, we are not seeing it. There are basic things that a local government chairman is supposed to know or to do. But if you look at the elite theory and the group theory, you see that majority of the people are in the group theory. But even if when they have taken the decision, it's still the elite theory, the few people that will take decision or the policies that will govern them. So you begin to see that even if everything is said and done, even in the local governments, when they have a good policy and all these things, very few people that are not even residing in local government will take a decision and give them the policy. Majority of our policy makers are not farmers. Many of them has not even lived in the local government. They don't even know what they are passing through. So how can that kind of local government function? But that's not the issue. The issue is this. Do we really want to give autonomy to the local government? If we really want to give autonomy to the local government, we change a lot of. There's no need. Even if we create 200 agencies for local government, when certain things are not done, it will not function.
Like what would you want to see done?
If we want to do election, let there be department in ANEC, number one. Let the local government election be done with the presidency, the Senate, and the House of Rep the same day. So we will now do, we have 3 tiers of government. And the other election that will be coming will be between the governor and his House of Assembly members. So that everything about the governor squeezing or controlling the local governor, there's nothing that will happen in the local government. Who is a local government person? A local government person is a man who goes to the farm because he's a peasant farmer. Do small something that will bring it. So if now that the federal government or the National Assembly are trying to make law, creating a new agency, what is the agency going to do? One conducting the general election, another one conducting local government election, or are they replacing independent Electoral Commission?
These are critical questions, Mr. Alancha.
Yes, very critical questions, and that is why I said the National Assembly is trying to, the sponsors of that bill are trying to create confusion, and for me, they've not done their research, properly before, pushing in for that bill, because Section 191 of the Federal Nigerian Constitution, stipulates that there will be establishment of State Independent Electoral Commission. So it must be expunged. So there is no need for you to create another agency when the State Electoral, Commission is a creation of the Constitution already. If you go to Schedule 2 of that same Constitution, Part 2, it gives the powers at government level. So what we are saying here is that, and you recall, INEC is responsible for appointing state electoral commissioners. It is not the governors that are responsible for the appointment of state independent electoral commissioners.
Resident
electoral commissioner. REC, yes. It is the state.
From INEC.
It is the INEC that appoints that. Now, for us to, to going forward, I think they need to look into the laws establishing the conduct of that seat. Okay, their responsibility is to conduct election. Why not we replicate what we do at the national government election? It will be at variance with, what is already existing in our constitution. What is already existing in our constitution.
In the constitution, but doing this, there are two issues here. Dr. Eze has thrown up something that is very germane to this conversation. Detach the governor's election and attach the local government election to the presidential election, and let the governorship election be a standalone election. That's what your position. Governorship election be a standalone election. That's what your position is.
Yeah.
Now, this other issue of INEC also running the election for local government, wouldn't it make the job more very
for local government? In an organization, we have 10 people, 10 managers that are supposed to work. The only person that is the head, the REC, is from INEC. The 9 other people working with him are from the state. And they are going to conduct an election in the state.
To conduct the election, which for me it will be at variance, because what do you do with this constitutionally created, agency that have the mandate to conduct election at the local government?
Constitutional mandate.
Yes, they have a constitutional mandate to conduct, election at the local government.
Okay, this argument, this conversation raises one fundamental question.
Okay. But the genesis depends on this federal allocation. The problem of all these things is on federal allocation.
It's all about money.
It's about money. Why local government is not functioning is because they don't have their own money. If local government have their own money, the way, like now, look at it. The way governors interface in local government affairs is not the way federal government interfaces in state affairs. Okay,
that's their job.
I want to ask you a question. I don't have the statistics now, but
they hold elections at the whims and caprices of the governors.
But that is the same reason why the president went to court to seek for local government autonomy, so that their finances can begin to come to them directly. It's not the governor, the ability of that money. Are we going to allow the governors to impose their cronies there, like you said, or like they've been doing in the past? No, we are not going to allow that. If the president is not interfering in the affairs of state, then governors should not unnecessarily interfere in the affairs or the finances of the local government. And for us to be able to do that, there is need for us to strengthen the electoral body that conducts the various laws that establish them, and not to come with another creation. Because like I said, it was agency to conduct election. A citizen can go to court and say that this creation cannot stand because it's at variance with the Constitution.
Yes, we agree with you.
So what we are saying is that the National Assembly should look into the law. If they want to create another agency, then they should repeal Section 191
of the Constitution,
creating
that creates or establishes state independent electoral commission. Good. But for me, because we need to look at things that in terms of benefits.
Cost and benefits.
You understand? In terms of cost and benefit, which one is more easier for us? The one for me that is more easier for us is to reject the various, laws that establish, the State Electoral Commission, including funding. Including funding, because if you leave the funding to the governors, then they will be in charge.
Been sitting over it. The governors have been sitting about how they are going to maneuver through. How do we explain all of this?
Nature, what I want you to know about all these things is interest based. You know, like he said.
And who is factoring the interest of the common man in Nigeria?
If you understand what matters, you see that a common man has no interest. His interest is only during the election period. They will give him rice and give him all. They will think that he's existing, and why he's not existing. But what I'm only trying to say is that Senate, the House of Rep, and the presidency, as they are voting their representatives, let them be voting the local government chairman. It's the same day, it's the same paper. Highest is, if they are going to have 4 papers, they have 5. And that day, the governor election has not been done. Governor don't know even his fate.
So what you are saying is that INEC should take over the conduct of local government elections.
Simple.
Yes.
The same issue again will arise. Why? What is constitutionally they don't even have the responsibility as I speak with you right now.
Yes.
So it still boils down to constitutional amendment.
If the National Assembly will be true to itself, this initiative to have a federal agency to conduct local government election,
an agency that will conduct. For me, the best way is, and take funding from state to national, so that the national can sponsor elections at the state level, because at the local government level. But if you allow funding, to be the responsibility of the state governors, you made mention that some states have not been able to conduct election. And why? You hear some of the governors say there is no funds to conduct local government elections. So why not we bring this, funding thing? Another perspective maybe we need to sit down and look into is 1999 to 2003, when local government autonomy was abolished. And then Electoral Commission. It was the National Electoral Commission then that were conducting the election.
Then
so
it was called,
if we want,
NEC.
So if we want, 100% to conduct the election. If it is to abolish, then it's for us, and I'm happy that the president has a conversation right now. Is the fact that the president has a political action 162 or thereabout.
Local government level, in order to you now have your money. We have nothing to do with you. Accountability, of course, will have to come now from whoever is running the local government. Can we vouch for the quality
our former leaders leave legacies? They are interested in legacies. But you see today, most of the people are interested in the next election they will win. Moving from either local government chairman to governor to House of Rep to Senate back to local government chairman. This is the only thing they are interested in. They are no more interested in legacy. Let me give you an example of civil service structure. It is established that when you start to work, so you plan your life. But today, governance are no more planned. Up and sack everybody. Governor can wake up and do anything he likes. But if this autonomy comes, then there's civil service rules, local government rules that should be strengthened. You don't need to just wake up and dismiss somebody. There's no query, there's no punishment, there's nothing at all. We have seen areas where governor will just wake up and remove a local government without any reason, because he's the one who put it here. But this autonomy will make them truly, if you apply, like I suggest, there are 3 things you...
But away from that, you see, in the opening, listen, I said something here. I said, we thank Mr. President for the political way he has to grant local government autonomy. Because for us, local government autonomy means development for the grassroots. Yeah. It means advancement for the grassroots. It means freedom for the grassroots. It's to advance governance, but whoever that will be the chairman of that local government. So we expect, because you now have more resources, like they were doing, during 1999, 2000, 2001, 2002. Okay, where local government were constructing feeder roads, where local government were paying their workers. The idea now this has even deal with the issue of local government workers, salary not being paid. Some states are paying 20%, some states are paying 50%. It is their money. The governors will sit on it and call the chairman. Chairman will come cap in hand, and collect a percentage of the local government salary and go and pay them. Now with the resources that is coming directly to the local government coffers, the local government chairman, because he has done proper budgeting, which you know that the way state operates, federal operate, that is how local government operate. Commissioners, or the ministers within the local government, advancing governance. So for me, I think it comes with enormous responsibility of discharging good governance to the people, and they will be held accountable.
Let me ask you this.
And in holding them accountable, we will be calling on all the anti-graft agencies.
No more DPMs.
No more. There will be DPMs. Even if there are DPMs, you understand. Personnel management is the highest ranking officer.
Yes,
it sounds like the head of service.
Head of service, yeah. Of
either the state of the district. So, like I said, it's a tier of government that have the capacity to operate
on its own right.
That have the capacity to operate the way state structures operate and the way federal structures operate.
Okay. Now, my question with some of the governors. Before now they've not been happy. Quite a number of them had found a way to hold this whole process ransom for so long. I remember the immediate past president wanted a similar action to be taken, but it was frustrated, it was truncated. This time around, there is really no
challenges. The institutions that will have the same capacity and way like him to do the needful. So that any institution that are giving responsibility and they cannot do, remove the head of that institution and give somebody who can do it. Because can give a judgment and is not being obeyed and nothing is happened, then it means we are not doing the right thing. So our governors today, they have agreed to obey the Supreme Court. But it's not about agreeing that is the problem. It's about implementation. That's why I say the let the National Assembly try to scrap Independent National Electoral Commission. State Electoral Commission. Let them scrap it or try to scrap it.
So, in all of this conversation, Mr. Alancha, this whole turnaround and newfound love or affection for local government, is this a populist move or something that is tangible?
It's a very, very tangible move, okay?
Not just populism.
Of course it is populist because, Nigerians have been... Nigerians have been advocating for local government autonomy. And the president cashed into it because he knows that he needs to do something that will appeal to the, sensibility of every Nigerian. Let me also say that I'm not aware of any judgment that of Supreme Court that have not been obeyed, and I'm not expecting that they will not obey this one. If you recall, since this judgment was delivered, over 4 states have conducted local government election. That is to tell you that they are compliant by it, because the compliance is not for states.